Why do we love the 22 long rifle? Let's be honest. Do we? Really? Sure, it's lightweight and comparably inexpensive, but so was that girl you dated once. Then you spent more time in the doctor's visits for 3 months after you broke up because you thought that girl had to give me something. Now, these are two of the most common 22 rounds. This one here is a 22 short, which I'm not even sure why I own it because I don't have anything to shoot it from. And this here is a 22 long. As you can see, there's quite a difference there. And there's no denying the fun and comfort we get when we take a 22 to the range. What other caliber can we spend hours throwing 1,000 rounds downrange for, that price and go home without a sore wrist or a broken blood vessel on our shoulder? Hell, a lot of us, if not most of us, learned how to shoot with a 22. Some of us may even let that nostalgia blur our vision of the 22. Now, I've seen videos on here where dudes were shooting a roast at 300 yards and making kill shots. I can't speak on their truthfulness of the videos like that, but I will say they had a lot of misses. Myself, I'm comfortable at 150 yards with a 22 LR. And that's, reaching out to probably my best accuracy. I'm no sharpshooter. However, I'm not a bad shot. The 22 long rifle is a rimfire round, and if you don't know what that is, it means that the priming compound is spun inside the rim of the case, which is, that's crushed by the firing pin, and that ignites the charge. Here's a 5.56 round, which everybody's... And if you don't know what this is, if you don't know how they work, you probably shouldn't be watching this video, but who knows. As you can see, in the middle is the primer. When you get to a 22 round, you'll see there's no primer. I can't get that to focus, but it is simply just like it says, it's a rimfire, so you don't need the actual primer in it. Now, the average 40 grain 22 round, that travels at around, I don't know, about 1,200 feet per second from the barrel, and the energy is at or around 104 foot-pounds of force. One of the best things about 22, 1,000 rounds weighs about 7.5 pounds, and that same 1,000 rounds will cost you about $100 at today's prices, and that's not too bad. This rifle here is the Marlin Model 60. It happens to be my favorite 22 long rifle. I have nothing against Ruger 1022s or any of the other models out there. There's just something about this Model 60 that just appeals to me. I love the thing. Hell, this is what I learned to shoot from. And I love the tube-fed magazine. It has a cheap little, I can't remember, a Tasco scope on it or something. When my children are of age, this will be the first gun, well, probably the first real firearm they shoot, and this will be what they learn fundamentals of shooting on. Hopefully this will give them the love that I have for shooting. But that's not what we're talking about. In a shit hits the fan situation, do I want this as one of my go-to firearms? Is there something out there that's better? I don't know, is there? Something I can still carry a shit ton of rounds, but delivers a hell of a better punch? No, the answer is hell yes there is. And that rifle is the 17 HMR. This is the Marlin Model XT17, I believe, and I love this rifle. I don't know if this is one of the better ones, better models, because it's the only one I've ever shot, but I know I love it. If you've never shot a 17 HMR and you love plinking with the 22, I highly suggest you do it. I have a, like a mid-range, actually I should say cheaper Weaver scope on here. It's 3x9x40, I believe. Never give me any problems. Then again, this thing doesn't kick at all. I could probably use a airsoft scope on it. Now let's start with the bad though on the 17 HMR. Remember that 22 long rifle round here? Well, this is your 17. Now I believe this is a VMAX. It's a polymer tip, also a rimfire, but as you can see there is a huge difference. Well, maybe you can see it if I can get it to focus. Now, remember that 1,000 rounds of 22 long rifle that weighed 7.5 pounds and cost about $100? Yeah. Well, that 1,000 rounds of 17 HMR is going to cost you about 210 at today's prices, and that might be at the lower end. But remember, we're talking about a shit hits the fan here, so don't let that completely turn you away of the 17 HMR. One of the first things we hear when talking about shit hits the fan ammo is availability and abundance. We're always talking about being able to find ammo like it's a damn video game, and I personally don't buy into that idea, at least not all the way. Sure, you'll find some. Hell, you might even get lucky and trip over a pretty good stash somewhere. But what's your plan to get this ammo? You gonna rob your neighbors? You're gonna steal it from survivors? You're gonna go to a store where there's probably all gone, or there's 100 people fighting over what's left? I guarantee you, if you said yes to any of the above questions, you will not survive long. So says common sense. Now, let's get back to these two rifles. The 22 here, it fills a niche, a certain niche, and it's a good idea to own one. I just think the 17 HMR fills that niche, and it's more diverse. The 17 HMR is fast, like stupid fast. Now that little round, that 17 HMR round, it travels about 2,550 feet per second out of the barrel, and the energy is pretty high too for such a for a 17 grain round, for a 17 grain bullet. I think it's around 245 foot pounds, which is pretty good for how small that is. And also, if you're shooting something like that polymer tip there, um, all of that energy is going to be delivered onto the target, because it's not going to penetrate all the way through, and that's a lot of energy for that such a little round, and the accuracy of that is ridiculous. Um, Now, I'm not here saying the 22 long rifle is not lethal. It is. Think of it this way: a rock can be lethal if I throw it hard enough and I hit you in the head or something. I'm just saying that 17 HMR has a lot more stopping power and distance. We always hear the 22 long rifle bounces around the body like a fucking pinball. If you believe that, then, well, I don't know. You probably shouldn't be watching this. You should be watching a video, I don't know, the basics, or doing some research on, ballistics, because we all know if you shot anything ever, the bullet's just going to go till it hits something, or, I don't know, until it passes all the way through. Hell, it might fragment or something. Um, and we've also all heard, I don't know, I always hear that, 22, or people, there's more people killed by a 22 each year than any other caliber. The only proof I've ever found of this is just some like dude on a forum or a blog just putting that shit out there. If it is true, I'd be willing to bet it's because dumb people don't show them, I should say, dumb people don't show the respect and take the 22 as serious as it should be. Uh, Look, I'm not a tough guy. I don't want to be shot by anything, not even a BB gun. But if you told me I had to pick between the 22 or 17 to be shot with, and I had to be shot with one, I'm picking the 22 all day. I love the 22 and always will. I just love the 17 HMR more. And if you can afford it, why wouldn't you go for the 17? Remember, shot placement is a hell of a lot easier when the target isn't moving or fighting back, and your adrenaline isn't flowing through you so hard that you feel like you might pass out at any second. I just, some things to put out there. The shout out for this video, it has to go to, obviously, 22 Plinkster. If you've never heard of him, I'll put a link in the description. Dude has a pretty good channel. He's a hell of a shot, a lot of trick shots, but he shoots basically everything with a 22. So, I don't know, until next time, stay cool. If you're not cool, I don't know, do better.